Senator Lopez Polito. Senator Cervantes. Here. Senator Chua. Senator Lee. Senator Sadiq.
Here.
Senator Abdul Sadiq.
Here.
Senator Nelson. Senator Jamavandi.
Present.
Senator Yan.
Here.
Senator Lim. Senator Garlick. Senator Liu.
Here.
Senator Martinez.
Here.
Senator Withrow.
Here.
Senator Gooneman.
Present.
Senator Saba.
Here.
Senator Kuriakos. Senator Munoz. Senator Mapp.
Yup.
Senator Artunian. Senator Sanhu. Senator Nakvi.
Here.
Senator Gill.
Here.
Senator Calderon. Here. Senator Chi. Senator Ubu.
Here. Alright, with that, we'll move on to our next item, approval of the minutes. Are there any objections to approving the minutes? Hearing and seeing none, the minutes are approved. Now I'll move on to our next item, approval of the agenda. Are there any objections to approving the agenda?
I motion to amend the agenda by moving item number 4 of new business to item number 1 of new business.
Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any objections? Hearing and seeing none, the amendment is adopted.
I motion to put, well, since now number 2, I guess, I'm gonna put, the 35405 of new business, which is listed as the first one, to the last part of the agenda.
Is there,
Second.
are there any objections? Hearing and seeing none, this amendment is.
Isn't 5405 old business?
I'm sorry, which one? Oh, no, it was postponed from the last
right, it
meeting.
was postponed, right.
Yes. Are there any further motions?
Motion to move item number, the R5434 to item number 2 of new business.
Is there a second? Are there any objections? Hearing and seeing none, this amendment is adopted. Are there any further motions on the floor? Hearing and seeing none, are there any objections to adopting the agenda as amended? Hearing and seeing none, the agenda is approved as amended. We'll now move on to public comment. Are there any members of the public who wish to address the Senate at this time? Hearing and seeing none, we'll move on to our next item on the agenda, executive officer reports. Are there any executive officer reports?
Yep. So the system-wide UC Women's Caucus Leadership Conference will be at UCLA, hosted by UCLA from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on March 3rd, 2019. So they are just getting the word out there to see if the other UCs would like to send delegations. So yeah, we still have until March to figure that out. And also high level review of IT at UCI. So the provost has asked Tom Andriola, the chief information officer of the UC system, to conduct high level review of IT at UCI. So they would like ASUCI to have representatives to some of their meetings. So the upcoming one is on Tuesday, December 11th from 4:30 to 5 p.m. So they're just wondering if any of us will be there. So if you are interested, let me know.
Thank you. Are there any other executive officer reports?
Yes. So my Food Security Commission, they collected about 800 swipes out of 2,000 swipes this quarter, so they're going to start grouping for Zara Hunger during week 1 and 2, and catering Pippin. So if y'all know of any freshmen, please let them know that they can donate their gift subs to this. We're also going to help French rebrand with ACCI to kind of change from just being very, like more from a narrative of where students have this free resource to changing it to it's only a resource for students who are actually in need of it and not just like free groceries every week. For Anteaters in Action, they just finished their Green Bean Picking event, Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week and everything. And they also finished the Sustainability Awareness Week last week. Student Life and Advocacy, they're working with Stephanie to work on wellness vending machines, and also, they're working on a women's health, conference for next quarter. They're also doing a lot of policy work on the side, more details to come. For garden, they're still planting, new plants after cleaning out the entire garden, and they're like, changing out the dirt and everything. Vendor fair, the vendor fair is going on right now, so please go purchase vendor fair and help all the local businesses. Sustainability project just finished the Sustainability Awareness Week, which had over like 120 people turn out. RAR is gonna have a stressless day tomorrow for all ASUCI members, so you can come play games, get free snacks, face masks, and all of that if you would like. Legal clinic, we're working on setting up possibly a legal services center, and we're also finalizing our logistics for the resource fair. Our transportation commission is still in contact with USC and UCLA to kind of figure out the logistics for the LIFT program. International Student Advocacy Officer is finalizing their details for the International Student Collab and their CPT advocacy and moving it on to next quarter. We're also meeting with AGS tomorrow to kind of finalize our agenda for international advocacy and how we're gonna go about that next 2 quarters. We're also gonna be seeing what are the efforts through UC regions for international students, as that's one of the big topics that's going on throughout the system-wide. Basic Needs Policy Officer is working on a restaurant meals program with dining to make sure we have EBT accepted on campus, and we're meeting with Lynn to see where they're at with their application process. We're also working to kind of bring a food recovery kitchen, and that's also in the process. But that's it.
Thank you. Are there any other executive officer reports? Hearing and seeing none, we'll move on to our next item on the agenda, special committee reports. There are no special committees currently standing, so we'll move on to our next item on the agenda, UCI Police Department inquiry for 15 minutes. This item was requested by the Advocacy Committee, so I'll turn this over to Senator Yan.
Can we have, Angela please speak, go up to the podium and speak about the, in regard to the analysis?
Sure, thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight before you. You may or may not be aware that over the summer, there were 2 pianos that were stolen from Mesa Court. And then just in the last 2 weeks, we saw 2 more pianos. An attempt was made for 3 that were stolen from Gillespie Performing Studio at the Mesa Arts Building. So we were fortunate that, as it turned out, the people came back to steal the 3rd piano, or so we thought, the 3rd piano, and office staff was able to report it to us so we could get detectives over there. And they talked to the 2 people that were there with the professional piano movers. And what we found out was a gentleman who's a transient that's been basically staying on campus throughout most of the summer. We've had a number of contacts with him. Had developed this pretty inordinate scam where he posed as a UCI employee and contacted piano companies, in this case one out of Phoenix, and sent pictures of the pianos that were in the arts building that were recently stolen, and said that he was representing UCI and wanted to sell the pianos, how much would they give him for them, and they brokered a price based on photographs he took of the pianos, and then they hired a professional piano moving company. They came and met with him on a Friday evening. He opened the door, how, we don't know, if it was unlocked or there wasn't any forced entry. The 2 piano movers, unbeknown, loaded up the 2 pianos into their truck and drove off with them. Well, his downfall was, fortunately for the police and for the campus, was the piano movers came back because their truck was too small to take 3 pianos on that Friday night. They came back on Friday without him to get the 3rd piano, and that's when office staff was alert enough to give us a call. We went over there. Our detectives went out to Linwood, where the piano moving company was, recovered the other 2 pianos from Linwood, and then we called the company in Phoenix. They cooperated with us, said they were supposed to send a check to them once they received the pianos over Thanksgiving weekend to a postal drop box that's about a block and a half from UCLA. So our detectives went out there the following Monday. He got a notice saying that there was a check there waiting for him. He showed up within an hour, and they arrested him. As it turns out, he's done the same thing at UCLA. So it's a pretty lucrative business. He was looking at making about $20,000. And so, we also believe, he, a couple times was kicked out of, over the summer, they found him sleeping at 5:30 in the morning at the LGBT Resource Center. And they lost, I think, 9 computers over the summer. And so we suspect he did those as well. We talked to him about the Mesa Court, pianos in an effort to recover what we call outside Miranda. Miranda is your warning, that you don't give up your rights to talk to us, but we can talk to you outside of that, we just can't use it against you. Initially, he was gonna tell us where the Mesa Court pianos were, but then he said that he didn't trust us to hold true to our bargain, and so he wouldn't tell us. So we know he took the Mesa Court ones as well, and so we're trying to follow up on some other leads to determine where those, may have been sold off. They weren't sold to the same piano company in Phoenix, we know that, because they have serial numbers, and they check their system for us. So we're gonna follow up on that, see if we can get the other 2 pianos, returned. He was, booked into Orange County Jail, and he's there currently, for grand theft. And then, UCLA's case was pending with the, they'd submitted it, and then we're doing some extra work, and so they're gonna join that with our case as well. So it looks like he goes between the 2 campuses, because they've had a number of contacts with the UCLA campus as well, too. So, I'm more than happy to answer any questions on that, if anybody has any. Yes, ma'am.
What did they feel from the ceiling? Like how many?
One.
Is there public record of this stuff? Like, is there like a mug shop over the stuff?
I actually, I can show you I'm willing to show a photograph of him here. I have it on my phone, if people want to see it.
Yeah.
If you want to pass that around, I think you guys are phone.
Senator?
What measures are in place to prevent this kind of stuff from happening again?
So the challenge for us, it wasn't forced entry. And I'm not, most of the people you think, well, how it's gonna take 2 or 3 big, maybe more burly guys to move pianos. I'm not sure that any of us in the room, if we saw a piano moving truck show up, we think that it was probably legitimate. And so what we said to our officers is, we need to start questioning people if we saw them. I don't know if officers drove by them and saw them or not. But if you guys see things that look like they're out of the ordinary, to call the police. We'd rather go there and be safe than sorry, and lose the pianos or other property. One of the things we're trying to encourage the janitorial staff, because apparently they frequently come across people sleeping on couches after hours, is to call the police, so those people don't need to be in office buildings. And in this case, I think it was 9 computers out of LGBT that were stolen, high-end Apple computers. And so so we want to encourage people to reach out to us and let us come out and make sure everything's okay. So that, on a similar related topic, since the summer, we've had 4 or 5 at Vista del Campo, what we call hot prowl burglaries. And a hot prowl burglary, the difference between that and just a regular residential burglary is the residential burglary happens when you're not home. Hot prowl happens when you're at home, and normally you're asleep. And so we've had 4 or 5 of these now that have happened since the summer, where the person's removing a sliding or a screen, or they're going through an unlocked front door, and the people wake up if they have a sense of someone's above them or whatever, but the guy is standing right there, and just casually walks out of the place, doesn't take anything. And so we put those out in Zot alerts, so hopefully all you guys have seen those in the Zot alerts. And just, if you call us, please lock your front doors. I know we get in a habit of feeling safe within especially this community, but lock your front doors and call us if you see, as soon as something happens. In a couple cases, they called people, friends, before they called the police, so 10, 15, 20 minutes went by before we got contacted. Other cases, they were right away. And we've done some stakeouts where we put officers there, and he just hasn't returned during that time period. So it really worries us. We don't like to see any burglaries occur or thefts occur, but it really worries us when somebody's home sleeping. So, any other questions? Is that time out on you? Or are you still keeping it alive? And you guys may have seen him around campus. The officers that I contacted him over the summer probably 3 or 4 or 5 times. So, and UCLA has a bunch of contacts with him as well. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I believe it was either last year or the year before that, there was teams taking police support as well.
The 7 TVs that were stolen from Mesa was during the summer.
Is that the same?
We believe, yeah, it's the same area, and we believe he's responsible for those as well. So in those, they were actually painting over the summer, and they moved some of the TVs, whomever it was, we believe it's him, into the closets. And when we went over there to investigate the original thefts, we walked around inside, and the painters said, hey, we don't know why these TVs are in the closet, so probably what it was too many of them, and he was gonna come back later. And the big key here is lock the doors, shut the doors behind you, don't prop them open. Force people to take their cards with them or their keys with them, because if you get that habit of making easy access, then people are they're either gonna get stolen from or they're gonna get hurt because they're gonna steal property right from your person or come in there while you're asleep. Got a question?
So if he does get charged with all these crimes, what would be his, punishment for that?
So it would depend on if he was charged with, the level of felony he's charged with, because some felonies now you can do, time in, county jail. All felonies used to be you did your time, if you're sentenced to, custody time, you did it in prison. Now there are felonies and thefts are some of those that will allow you to, do time at the county jail. If he's sentenced to actual prison time, will depend upon what his past criminal history is. I don't know that off the top of my head.
Senator Napi?
I'm just wondering, so you guys are talking to the people in Arizona to get the money back for the 2 pianos that were recently stolen, but what about the ones in Mesa Court? How is UCI gonna be reimbursed for?
So the piano's never made there, and he never got paid. So there's no money, they just cooperated with us. The UCI is self-insured, so that's how they cover the cost of the pianos. But regardless of whether the cost of the pianos, replacing them or not, is covered, our goal here is to try to still find the pianos. So we're looking at different options of search warrants and those kind of things, trying to get some of his personal information to see who he's communicated with, because that's how he does all of his communications via email.
Vice President Eller?
So I know like we brought this question up in our student government luncheon, but this kind of like you're losing the trust between students and UCI PD. So what are the efforts being made to kind of make it transparent for other students that are not in this room, other than the live stream and everything?
So in this perspective, in the perspective of thefts and crimes,
Specifically with the pianos, because those are some like big objects. So if like if big objects are being stolen, then like there's no correlation.
there's no correlation with the police? or-
No.
I'm not sure I understand the question.
More so like there's no correlation with big objects being stolen and trusting locks, but like oftentimes like students don't understand that it's easier for big items to be stolen. So, like what are ways that like UCI PD is doing to make it more transparent about like the whole case itself?
So, right now, one of our lieutenants, Mahoney, is actually talking to a student-run radio station, to put out information about them. So to give you a little bit of my background in the 4 minutes and 28 seconds I have left, I worked for 32 years at a municipal police department, and the municipal police departments typically release their own press releases. Well, the UC campuses in most of your Cal states, they have Office of Strategic Communications. And so typically, they're not moving that kind of information out through their resources and their outlets. And so one of the things that I'm trying to talk to Strategic Communications and the Vice Chancellor's office is about at least putting things up on our website about things that have occurred, so people can go there and see those. If we have a person of interest that we're looking for, to utilize the student, staff, and faculty, kind of our eyes and ears if the police don't see them, so we can at least alert students to the presence of somebody that shouldn't be on our campus that's a danger to those 3 groups. So that's the key here is we're and starting to use more of our Twitter account and our Facebook account to push information out. So because just putting out print media, we can see what's happening with the newspapers. They're going to the wayside, and young people, especially at the university level, are I think more adept to social media. So that's the goal, is to push more information out via social media.
Senator Young?
Will the results of this investigation be released to the students via email? To keep them in the loop?
Sure, I can look into that. I'm not sure that we've done that in the past, and I'm curious to look around the room. Is that something that students you think would want to hear from the
Yes.
police?
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's great feedback, because I've been here for 7 months, and so it's still kind of, I equate it to taking a drink out of a fire hose for me. And so as far as learning new systems, because the university policing is much more different than municipal or county law enforcement. So if that's something that you guys would like us to push out to the students, that's something I'll go back and talk with my boss as well as the guys that work with me to see the mechanisms that we can do that. I appreciate that feedback. Yes, sir.
Senator Martinez?
I'm sorry.
Senator Martinez?
Yeah, to strengthen the relationship between the students and UCIPD, I definitely recommend that sending some sort of email to all students regarding the results of the investigation.
Okay.
Senator Bondi?
Do you have like a card if you have further questions?
I do. I don't have 50, but I got one.
We can like send it around and just like take a picture of it. Yeah. Senator Kiriakos?
Rather than sending off information, is there any way that, is there already a site that the information is already made public? Because not many people can check their emails anyways.
So there's not, we
Oh,
typically
yeah,
don't
that'd be
post that information publicly. Do you think people check the emails if it comes to this group here more versus coming out from the PD? Because I could send it to someone here and have it distributed.
Vice President Ellen?
I think in this specific case, just because of like the whole, like, I guess, the conversation around with the pianos, they're more likely to read the email if it says something in the subject line about it.
Okay,
Which is kind of sad because not a lot of students actually read emails, even if it's from us or from you or anyone. And it's something that we're trying to figure out too, to see like what students check, and it's really hard.
I would venture to say it's no different than with older adults. Because sometimes we have to say, did you read that email yesterday, Frank? What email? So I can appreciate your concern, yeah. So we'll look at ways to put it out, and do you think they look at Twitter more? Do you think people even follow the police department on Twitter?
I think it depends on like how big it blows up, like the piano one blew up really big.
Okay,
Yeah.
To go viral on Twitter
Yeah.
with this like press release on Twitter.
okay. We'll do it, okay? Maybe I'll get in trouble, but we'll do it. Okay? Again, thanks for your time. Anytime that you need a representative from the police department, come talk about something. If I'm not available, one of the staff will be available. I appreciate the time. Have a good night.
So we'll now move on to our next item on the agenda, the 5407, funding for change of major nursing orientation for 15 minutes. Senator Bondi?
Motion to call to question my application.
Second.
Are there any objections? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor, please raise your hands. All those opposed? And all those abstaining? With that, this bill passes unanimously. So we will now move on to our next item on the agenda. R 5435, ratification of the 2018 ASUCI special elections for external vice president and student advocate general. Can the second please give a reading?
Whereas the 2018 ASUCI special elections for external vice president and student advocate general are complete and eligible voters have been given the opportunity to cast their votes. Whereas the process, policies, and procedures of ASUCI bylaws, constitution, and elections codes were all followed in proper fashion and to the best of the ability of the Elections Commission. Whereas by ratifying the election process, ASUCI Senate is not necessarily endorsing winners, once released, of the election, but are simply upholding their duty of ratifying the process by which the election was administered. Let it be resolved that the ASUCI Senate acknowledges and approves the election process in order to permit the election results for the 2018 ASUCI special elections for external vice president and student advocate general to be posted as soon as the Constitution and Elections Code permits.
Discussion is now open on this item. Senator
What
Bondi?
exact, so results will be released tomorrow at 5?
Yes. Senator Goodman?
May I ask the elections commissioner, well, I was just gonna ask one now. So what do you think about the election? Did it go like fairly or like?
As of right now, I have not received word from the judicial board regarding any complaints I have not received any complaints, and they have not gotten back to me about
Because of the election commission, you have to like, monitor how the election went, like how candidates publicize their, like, basically how candidates campaign, and like, do you think like everything was like?
Yes, I have read through everyone's post on Facebook, since everything is now, the campaigning was done electronically. I've monitored their Facebook posts and everything, I've had no problem with anything, or anything is just to me, complaining about anything about any candidate post.
Senator Chu?
So we're ratifying the result that will be released tomorrow,
Yes.
in case anyone did anything like last year.
Senator Damani?
So, is it against like the elections code? This is more a question for you. So, is it against like the elections code if like, let's say somebody who has like more power, such as an RA or like an RA specifically, who like influences how their residents vote by like just saying vote for this person?
No,
So it's not against
Unless they
it
represent the organization itself and
or the
say,
candidate.
within the organization.
like, if they say that UCI Housing wants you to vote, like, for this person, then that's not okay. If they say, like, I want you to vote for this, that's fine.
Okay.
Because they're saying it as a student rather than everyone says they're abusing their power.
I'm not seeing the votes though, kinda, cause like the freshmen don't really know who's who.
That would be their responsibility
Yeah.
to search it online, since I have posted, sent emails and posted on Facebook, where they can find out all about any information on the election website. It is their responsibility.
I follow all the social media and I've never seen a post from any of the election commission.
I have posted on all the class pages, my deputies have posted on the class pages. My interns have not, since they have not been, I have not gone over anything since my team has received.
Senator Cinnamon?
May I ask how, last election, there were some concerns about endorsement. May I know how, and how this year's election commission like verify endorsement?
Sorry.
May I know how, like the procedure that the election commission take to verify, endorsements from clubs?
You just do what they send in the form and everything.
Because, as far as I, remember or recall from last year, I believe that, Liam, did you make a bill about, not a resolution about, having, multiple signers like verify their endorse, like the candidate they want to endorse before they endorse?
No, I don't believe that was the case. The issue that came up was candidates were endorsing themselves via their club, but I don't think it was mobile signers, to my knowledge. Senator Martinez?
So just to clarify for y'all, the only campus organization signers can fill out the candidate endorsement forms.
Vice President Eller?
I think like last year's concerns was more so that candidates who were on board were endorsing other candidates, not candidates endorsing themselves.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification. Any further discussion?
I'm still rereading the.
President Wade?
This is the total number, like the percentage of the total number of Democratic people.
I do not know the percentage, I know the numbers, but
What is the number?
the number in terms of the percentage, I don't know.
Or just a number? Like the total number of people who voted.
I wouldn't say kind of the total. When I started with each candidate got, I never actually saw the sum. It says eligible, after the votes.
Vice President Eller?
For previous elections, the counter was always made available,
Yeah.
so that's why we were wondering what the total number of votes were, just to see like what trends are like.
Any further discussion on this item? Senator Newman?
Last year's resolution, R53-119. And the first, therefore, let it be resolved clause. It says that in order to endorse a candidate for ASUCI office, the person approving the endorsement, in addition to any requirements, shall present proof to the election commission that a vote was taken by the members of the club or organization in favor of endorsing the candidate in the candidate in question.
Oh, was this the amendments that was made to the bylaw?
It's the second amendment.
Okay, so for that, actually, the elections commissioner from last year spoke to me, so those amendments didn't take effect because they still have to go through the governance and internal policy committee. So those amendments weren't in effect for this election.
So when will this amendment be effective?
The governance and internal policy committee, to my knowledge, has not convened. Vice President Howard?
It can't be formed until the SAG is here.
Yeah, so those amendments aren't in effect for this election.
So
SAG.
Yes, Senator Goodman?
question is, the SAG last year didn't approve it?
The governance and internal policy committee did not convene after these amendments to the elections code were passed, so they still haven't been approved by that committee. Senator Lopez Polito?
Yeah, so what ended up happening was we passed it, and then we had a conversation with the election commissioner at the time came up to us and said, hey, you can't pass these without going to the committee first. So we had to go to the committee first, and there was no, the SAG at the time was incommunicado, we couldn't reach the person, they weren't here. So we can't propose the bylaw to pass the bylaw to enforce the bylaw, if that makes any sense. So they don't even apply to this, even though it did pass.
So then was it ever retrieved?
I'm sorry, what do you mean by that?
Was the resolution ever retrieved back? Because it passed, but it wasn't approved. It wasn't approved to pass in the first place.
Yeah, so it shouldn't have, I don't know if there's an option to mark it on the website that I don't know what the proper way to mark it would be, but it isn't in effect because it didn't technically go through that
Okay.
committee. Yeah.
Got it.
Senator Young,
Motion to call into question by acclamation.
is there a second?
Second.
Are there any objections? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor of this resolution, please raise your hands. All opposed? All those abstaining? With that, this resolution passes unanimously. We'll now move on to our next item on the agenda, R5434, appointment of a social ecology senator for 10 minutes. Discussion is now open on this item. Senator Martinez,
Motion to go into closed session for 10 minutes regarding personnel matters.
third second. Are there any objections? Hearing and seeing none, the motion passes. We will now enter closed session. At this time, I would like to ask all members of the public to please leave the room for the duration